All right, we're going to do a mic check, mic check. You know, for those folks who are listening and joining, by the way, we are now going live, or we'll be live in a second. We are in Salt Lake City. We're in Salt Lake City. And Steve, you might be wondering why I'm sitting here trying to make sure that people can hear us. And I don't know if you had this experience yourself in your own life where sometimes you're talking and you're talking to yourself. Like, no one can hear you. Isn't that crazy? With modern technology.
That doesn't hold an audience very long, does it?
No, it does not hold an audience at all. Not very long at all. You find yourself, they can't hear me. So for those folks that are out there, by the way, as you're starting to tune in, do me a favor, look right below the video. You can look right below the video and just say, Shay, we can hear you. Just, Shay, we can hear you, because I want to make sure I'm able to be heard. Takesha Ford, I see you out there. Thanks a lot for joining. LaShonda Mays. LaShonda Mays is watching, by the way. Hey, LaShonda, thanks for joining. We appreciate you. Thank you so much, by the way, for out there. Now, let us know you can hear us. Tristan Sutton, he says, mic check, mic check. We can hear you. Tristan is someone wonderful, Steve. You got to meet this guy. He's in, tell us where you're from. I think it's Dallas, Texas, but I think he may be in Houston. Have you ever got someone's hometown wrong?
Once or twice.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Tristan, let us know where you're at so we can make sure you can, I can recognize you in your business, by the way. He does Facebook ads. And one of the things he's a master at is helping folks create an ad that can be seen by other folks. Because it's nothing like having a business, being able to serve other folks, do more good in the world, and guess what? No one can even hear you. Isn't that the craziest thing you've heard? So thanks a lot for joining, by the way. Says, we can hear you. That's good. He's out there. LaShonda May says, Shay, we can hear you. Tristan says, Houston. He's in Houston, by the way. RJ Guest. Hey, RJ. Look, RJ is really amazing, by the way. I think you're in Phoenix. I know you have, I'm not going to tell about Even Stevens yet, but I know you have something out there in Arizona. We'll get to that. Thanks a lot for joining. Ann Brown, thank you so much for joining, by the way. Look, is it okay if I take a moment and if we acknowledge some of the entrepreneurs out there?
Great.
Some of the small business owners. Do
Absolutely.
you mind if they kind of promote themselves? Do you mind doing that for a second?
That's great.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. This is really cool. Hey, Ann Brown. Hey, Justin Morgan. Justin Morgan is actually at the studio day recording. Thanks for joining, by the way. Cassandra Thomas, thanks for watching. Look, do us a favor if you can. If you're just joining, we got something special. I know you're gonna share your own personal story. At least that's what you promised me. But more importantly, we want to recognize you. You, the business owner. You, the entrepreneur. You, the person that gets up every single day to just have more impact in the world, to make a difference in other lives and other businesses. So do me a favor, look right below the video, People wonder why we do this, Steve, but we want to recognize you. So go ahead and put your first name, put your last name. Hey, Jamila Boyd, tell us where you're from, and more importantly, share what you do. Is that okay?
Great.
Okay, Steve said you can share your business name, and if you have a website, look, they have a website. Are you okay with this? Because you believe in abundance, right? That's what you're preaching, right? You believe in abundance. So look, Steve said, look, you can put your first name, put your last name, tell us where you're from. More importantly, tell us what you do, and only for this broadcast. They can't do it all, Steve, but you give permission. You can go ahead and put your website down, all right? And we'll recognize you. And why would you want to do that? This is all about collaboration. We're talking about collaborating, right? We're going to talk about working together in just a moment. And collaboration gives you the opportunity to collaborate with other folks. So Sean Gilliam, hey, Sean is watching. She spent a month traveling around the world. No, literally, she was in Italy. Sean, tell us some of the places you were at. Just put it right below the feed, by the way. Amazing person. You want to meet her. Hey, Kat, thanks for joining, by the way. She's out there, by the way. Justin's out there. Thank you all who are tuning in. Look, the reason I want you to recognize and put where you're from, then we got a very important question, because they want to know where you're really $2 million in debt or more. They want to know when you're upside down. But look, here's what I want you to know, and here's why we have this conversation. It's a philosophy that we believe in. You've heard us say this, Steve, but it's so important. We believe, hey, Trina Brown. Trina's in North Carolina. She's actually doing her own event. Thanks a lot for joining. RJ Guest says he's in San Antonio, Texas. Big Boss Choices, working to help those working with our youth. You know something about that, the YMCA. We'll talk about cause capitalism. Everyone jot that down.
Awesome.
Cause capitalism. Trina Brown said hashtag Reshare Nation. Reshare Nation, Steve, is how we take and we reshare a video. So when someone's providing content, you don't keep it to yourself. You share it into your network. You share it into your private group. You share it on your business page so others can benefit. Is that okay?
Sounds great.
Is it okay if they share this information?
Of course. Yeah.
Steve's like, Shay. Of course. All right, you have his permission. Hit the share button. Hit the share button. Well, hit the share button. Use the hashtag financially fit. We're going to talk about that in a moment. Financially fit. Okay, Eric Lofton is out there. Hey, Eric. Eric is the coach I was talking about. Remember in the beginning, I was talking about I work with someone, and this would not be possible. Eric, man, I love what you're doing. I love you taking some time to spend with the wife this weekend, by the way. Amazing person. You got to connect with Eric Lofton. Hey, Eric, I'm still your number one student, man. I made a commitment. You know when you work with coaches sometimes, you don't tell people you're going to be the number one student. He was my coach. You know what I told him? I'm going to be your number one student. Not because I'm going to out-earn everybody, because I'm going to do exactly what you tell me to do. Eric Lofton, shout out to you, my man. Jackie Hurd is watching. Thanks for joining. Takesha Ford, Rose says she's from Kansas City, Missouri. She's in there watching, by the way. Her company is Rose, Community Outreach Advocate, investing in the youth and creative writing. Look, I'm going to get started and ask Steve a question, and I want you all to tune in right now. I want you to listen like you've never listened before, and I want you to watch with new eyes through the power of fiber, through the power of those fiber optic lines right now, because this is a philosophy we have. We believe in collaboration. We believe that 1 + 1 = 2. You heard that. We learned from George Fraser, by the way. 1 + 1 = 2. But when we cooperate, when we collaborate, when we work together, which we are, stop asking. Will y'all start asking me questions about eat to give? Don't look. We're gonna get to this in a moment. Eat to give. Okay, we're gonna get to that in a moment. Blessed, have a blessed day. She's already blessing you, by the way. But we believe that 1 + 1 = 2. But 1 and 1 = 11. That's the power of collaboration, which is what we're doing right here. Everyone right now, look right below the video, and put hashtag 11. Put hashtag 11. If you're ready to collaborate. If you're ready to work with someone else, if you're ready to have a team, because success is a team sport. You can only get so far by yourself. Then put hashtag 11. That's the bat signal. That's the bat signal that we're willing to collaborate. And if someone put hashtag 11, go and hit the like button. Go and hit the like button and say, you know what? I'm willing to collaborate. I'm willing to be there. But more importantly, hit the share button right now. All right, Steve, I like to do that because these videos go viral. And their comments go along with the video. Their business goes along with the video. What they do goes along with the video. And this is all about doing more, doing good, and doing more in the community. Takesha, thank you so much for saying hashtag 11. Eric, thanks so much, hashtag 11. Thank you all right now. Hey, Trina Brown, thanks for hashtag 11. Every single one of you believe in hashtag 11. All right, Steve, I'm here in Salt Lake City, hanging out, having some good food. How you doing, man?
Great. It's been fun, hasn't it?
It's been amazing. Now,
Yeah,
there are folks out there that are listening to me, and they're thinking, all right, Steve, first, who in the LL Cool J are you? You might know who LL Cool J is, but don't worry. He was a rapper. He might not even...
Thanks for sharing. Yeah, I didn't know.
You didn't know? You didn't know
Yeah.
LL Cool J? Okay, you know he's a rapper.
Okay.
And they might wonder, who are you? So do you mind taking a moment for those folks that are hearing for the first time? Tell them a little about your name and tell them about this being upside down $2 million, $200 million or more. Talk about that for a moment. But who are you?
Well, my name is Steve Down, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
Down, the opposite of up.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell people, though my last name is Down, it doesn't mean I'm down and out. and in fact, life has been an amazing uphill journey and a lot of fun with many twists and turns. I'm married to Colleen. She's been putting up with me now for 37 years.
Hold up.
This coming August.
You were married for 37 years?
Yeah,
High five, man. 37 years to the same woman.
Yeah, same woman. And
Wow.
7 children and 10
7?
grandchildren. Yeah, and so evidence that I am a wealthy man right there. With 10 grandchildren.
Yes.
But it's been an amazing journey.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a journey that I believe will inspire others. And people, they ask me, why do I do what I do? In fact, my wife Colleen is walking with her friends, and her friends asked her, what is it that your husband does for a living?
Sure.
Because I'm involved with many businesses. Her reply was, I don't know. When I get home, or when he gets home tonight, I'll ask him.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, honey, she said, ask, are serial entrepreneur? Does that describe you? And I said, well, I think what describes me is that I love to inspire other people. whatever I do, my core value, Shay, is I love to inspire. I love to inspire hope more than anything else. And the one thing that's missing in our society more than anything else when it comes to hope is, I believe, is financial hope.
Mm-hmm.
There are many people who are desperate. Some people are in despair. Businesses fail because of financial reasons primarily. Marriages and families dissolve because of financial problems. 89% of all divorces directly related to financial problems.
Whoa.
And if our listeners right now are nodding, you're either married or you know someone who is. Because when people say it's not about the money, it's the principle, it's generally about the money. And so I love teaching financial fitness, helping people become financially fit for life. And so what does that mean? It means that you're at a place where you no longer have to work for money because money now works for you.
Okay, say that again. You're no longer in a place where you have to work for money.
Because money now works for you. For example,
because money works for you.
It's simple math, really, Shay. If your goal is to live a $100,000 per year lifestyle, it's pretty simple math. 10 years of $100,000 would be $1 million. Mm-hmm. At 10% interest is $100,000 per year forever, as long as you never kill the goose that lays the golden egg.
I like
now,
that.
People often ask me two questions at this point. Well, how do I get to that $1 million? Mm-hmm. Well, that's relatively simple. $1 million, is not a major. Well, it's a major milestone. That the second million is easier than the first million, of course. But if you don't know how to get to that $1 million, then you need a wealth coach, someone that's going to give you a very clear vision of hope. And what people often ask me also is, where do you get 10% interest? And I
was about to ask that question.
And I, this is where I have to be patient. I want to say, are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. But it's not from the conventional way of thinking, that's for sure. But if you don't know where you can get 10% returns on your money every business day of the week, then you really do need a wealth coach. And though I don't really consider myself a wealth coach as a living, I love teaching people how to create wealth. And my message, Shay, is that wealth is not earned. If you thought you could earn wealth, my question is, how's that working for you? Wealth is not earned. Mm-hmm. Wealth is created.
Oh, that was a hashtag moment. Say that one more time.
Wealth is not earned. Mm-hmm. Wealth is created. And once you understand the principles of wealth creation, you can create wealth again and again.
So for those folks that are listening right now, if you're out there, I see you, Michelle. I see you, Ella Carroll. I see you, Carla. I see you, Landon McCall. Do me a favor if you're listening right now. Look right below the video. And write these words. Wealth is not earned. Wealth is created. Hashtag financially fit. I'm going to give it to you again. This is Steve Down. We're talking to Steve Down, who's been there. But this is an important principle. This is what guides what you do, right? This is what guides your thought and your process. So look right below the video. And put these words. Wealth is not earned. Wealth is created. Hashtag financially fit. Kat, thanks a lot. She put wealth is not earned. Wealth is created. LaShonda's out there in Dallas, Texas. Wealth is not earned. Wealth is what? Created. Hashtag financially fit. Now, I'm going to ask you to do that. Now, you're going to pay this message forward. I want you to hit the share button right now. We're part of Reshare Nation, Steve. And I know you're going to get to how wealth is created and how wealth is not earned, how wealth is created. But I want you to pay this message forward. Hit the share button. Ella Carroll put wealth is not earned, wealth is created. Hashtag financially fit. We're going to get into that in a little while. But hit the share button. And all those are part of Reshare Nation. All those that want to collaborate, all those that want to work together, hit the share button and just write those words. Wealth is not earned. Wealth is what? Created. And put hashtag financially fit. Now, he's going to talk about this principle, this philosophy he has. Because I'm curious, right? We heard him say it. And those are easy words to say, Steve. But we're curious about how the details are. I want to thank you all. Carla, thank you so much for putting it out there. Takesha, thank you so much for putting it out there. Irose put wealth is not earned, wealth is created. hashtag financially fit for all of you who are participating, for all of you who are sharing that. Thank you so much. So talk about that. Joanna is on here from South Africa, by the way. She's from South Africa.
Wow.
She's watching right now. Wealth is not earned, wealth is created. Now, just that one idea, that's a $50,000 idea, but you got some more. Talk about, Steve, what that means and what that looks like.
You know, it's exciting, Shay, that we live in the idea economy.
The idea economy?
The idea economy.
I like that.
And you and I are one idea away from creating wealth. Mm-hmm. And you know what's amazing?
What's that?
It doesn't have to be our idea.
Oh,
it can be someone else's idea. Whether you're the entrepreneur or the financier, the results can be the same. Mm-hmm. I was a financial planner for many years, and I learned a lot of things typically in hotel conference rooms, training to become a financial planner. Many things that I had to unlearn. For example, I was taught that, to teach my clients that, 10% of all you earn should be invested, and to take that investment, put it into something like a mutual fund, mm-hmm. and then over time, through the miracle of compound interest, you will become wealthy. Well, what I discovered is that it worked for a few, but it didn't work for many, mm-hmm. and it certainly didn't work for me, and I was somewhat frustrated. If our listeners are frustrated, then maybe it's time to open your heart and mind to other possibilities. Because what I've done is extensive research of how the wealthiest people in the world have become wealthy. Take, for example, the Fortune 400. Okay. The 400 wealthiest families in America. And so the question would be, how did they create their wealth? Was it through mutual funds? And was it through treasury bills, bank CDs?
Stocks? Was it through stocks?
Stocks and bonds, municipal bonds.
Insurance?
Shorts, longs, calls, options. And I played that game before. Before with my background as a financial planner and trading in the stock market. And by the way, I love real estate. I love stocks and bonds. I just don't do it anymore because there's a value of my time. And, I'd rather spend that time with my family than, trading in the stock market, day trading and so forth, as fun as it was. But because I've learned from the examples of the wealthiest people in the world, the 400 wealthiest in America, the Forbes 400, mm-hmm. I discovered that 398 of the 400 created their wealth the same way.
Wait.
All but two.
398 of the Fortune 400 families created their wealth all the same way. I got to ask, how's that? Obviously, I'm curious.
I wish I would have understood this when I was your age, or when I was 30 years old, yeah. or in my 20s. Warren Buffett understood this when he was in his 20s, and today Warren Buffett has a net worth of approaching $100 billion, and he's given some money away along the way. Mm-hmm. And so the wealthiest people in the world have created their wealth through, there's two words that I want our listeners to pay attention to.
Okay, so two words. Let's all listen to these two words.
Private equity.
Private equity.
They've invested in companies, and often their own companies, before that company went public, before they sold it to the public marketplace, through a merger, acquisition, or IPO. And so
if I understand correctly, let me do a recap. For those folks that are just tuning in, we're here with none other than Steve Down, someone who's gone from negative $200 million to now probably worth more than $500 million. But what's most important about Steve Down is he's talking about one of the ways that 398 of the 400 richest families on the planet, in America on the Forbes list, earned their income through private equity, their wealth through private equity. So look right below the video, and just write these words: earn wealth through private equity. Just write those words right now.
Right.
Create wealth through private equity. Is that right? Would that be a true statement? I'm going to let
Right.
you elaborate. So look right below the video. Look right below the video. Tina Harmon is on. Thanks for joining. Angie says she shared it. Thanks so much for sharing it. Michelle Malou said hello. She's sharing it. But go ahead and do me a favor. By the way, Karen Chambers said she shared it, by the way. Trevor Otts is watching. Hey, Trevor. You know Trevor couldn't let this go on without him being here. Hey, Trevor Otts. Shout out to you, man. He's back there working with Evoke. They're in the studio doing what you do best, by the way. Ella Carroll said, hashtag private equity. So here's the answer. How do you create wealth? One answer is 2 words, private equity. So look right below the video, and write these words. Create wealth through private equity. You're going to talk about that in a moment. Sheila Reynolds just joined on, by the way. She knows something about this. Go ahead and put down create wealth through private equity. He's going to talk about that. And what is private equity? Like he says you get into a company before they go public, but how does that even work? I mean, is that even legal? I mean, I'm sure it is, or you wouldn't be mentioning it to us, but, is that legal? Is that a scheme? People take your money. Can they keep your money? Michelle says, create wealth through private equity. William Harrison. Hey, William. William's on here, by the way. They're all watching. You can see them. They're all making comments. They're scrolling right below. We're in Salt Lake City. We're at the Even Stevens headquarters. They want to know where are we, man. They want to know. We're going to get to that in a moment. We're at Even Stevens, where you eat to give. We'll get to that. But let's get back to this private equity. Let's get back to this financially fit movement that's going on. You said wealth is not earned, wealth is created. And one of the ways to create wealth, for those that are tuning in, is through private equity. Talk a little more about that.
As a quick story, I was working trading stock and full-time. Mm-hmm. And I was with, we had a mastermind group. Mm-hmm. I shared this story with you earlier today. And one thing that we noticed with our very sophisticated training tools was that when a company like Facebook would go public, that the sell orders would stack up. Mm-hmm. And the sell orders were typically the large orders, 10,000 shares, 100,000 shares, 250,000 shares. We could see that the large orders were stacking up to sell that company's stock at the IPO when that company would go public. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, the small orders of 100 shares, 500 shares, 1,000 shares, maybe 10,000 shares, the buy orders were stacking up the relatively small orders. Mm. So it was plain to see, Shay, that the smart money was selling. The unsophisticated money was buying. Mm-hmm. So it was clear to me that the IPO, that when that company was going public, that was the predetermined exit strategy for the smart money. Mm-hmm. They were selling to take their profits. Mm-hmm. And their exit wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for the unsophisticated money that was buying. So I'd ask my buddies, how do you get involved in a company before it goes public? Right. They'd shrug their shoulders and they'd say, Steve, that's the good old boys club.
Yeah, but how do you join the good old boys club? Oh, good old girls club.
Yeah, I want to join the good old boys club or the good old gals club. Yeah. But no one really knew what that meant. Yeah. And what I've discovered since then, it's the good old boys club is investing in private equity. But unfortunately, private equity hasn't been available to the masses until really now. With the when Obama signed into law the Jobs Act, it actually lifted the general solicitation rule, where private equity is beginning, in a small way to be presented to a larger audience across this country. And so, and what I also discovered is that you can create your own club in a sense. People ask me, well, Steve, how are you different from Warren Buffett? Well, yeah. Two basic differences. One is that he's a billionaire. I'm not. And the second difference is that he actually buys private companies, whereas I start private companies. Good analogy. And a good example would be a company that people are wondering what eat to give means.
They keep saying this big thing. They're like, Shay, what is that eat to give?
It means eat to give.
To give. Okay.
That's right. And Even Stevens is perhaps the fastest growing restaurant concept in the country currently, maybe even ever, just depending on if we can continue with our growth trend. Even Stevens incorporates a new philosophy in business that I refer to as cause capitalism.
Cause capitalism? Okay.
Cause capitalism.
Okay, so first we're going to define cause capitalism. We're going to pause there. We're talking to the owner of Even Stevens, the owner of Steve Hotels, can't get on that right now, the owner of Falls Event Centers. But he just mentioned to you a moment ago that Even Stevens is one of the fastest growing
restaurant concepts in history.
Restaurant concepts in history. I want to say hello to Darren Cleescale. Hey, Darren Cleescale, one of my good frat brothers, by the way. Kappa Alpha Psi in the house. Hey, Darren, love what you're doing with the kids. Kathy Webb is joining. She knows something about wealth. Tanisha Webb is on here. Marianne Ufuma joined on. She's in Phoenix, Arizona. Even Stevens, we'll talk about that in a moment. J.S. Singh is on. Altavis Pelzer, hey, thanks for joining. For those folks that are joining on right now, look right below the video. And one of the principles that we're talking about around financially fit, and as you're saying, this comes from you, is that wealth is not earned, wealth is created. But he just introduced a new concept, and many of you already wrote that. For those folks that put that right below the video, thank you so much. Just look right below the video. You can type these words. Wealth is not earned, wealth is created. Hashtag financially fit that we're going to talk about. But he just said something about Even Stevens that caught my attention, that caught my ear. I heard you say something about cause capitalism. Cause capitalism. Now, you got to define cause capitalism. You got to define how that relates to Even Stevens and this concept of eat to give. So for those folks that are listening out there, Ngazi said, hey, the happy entrepreneur, that's me. Miriam says, hello, she's watching out there. Ursula just joined. Hey, Ursula, he's on. Hey, Nakia is on. Boy, I'm telling you, you're bringing out the all-stars, by the way. You're bringing out the all-stars today on this day or evening or afternoon, whatever time it is, wherever you're watching in the world. Talk a little bit about cause capitalism and what it means.
Thank you. Well, cause capitalism, I'm so passionate about these words that I trademarked these words, cause capitalism, so that I could control the definition. Cause capitalism is the new capitalism. The old capitalism, it's becoming obsolete. You know that dog-eat-dog, win-lose philosophy?
Sure.
There's a new generation that's not impressed. Capitalism is at risk. And capitalism must change in order for it to survive. I believe, Shay, that it has to become a kinder, more compassionate form of capitalism that the millennial generation can embrace. Now, a company that exemplifies cause capitalism is Even Stevens. Cause capitalism, by definition, and I trademarked the words.
Listen carefully. Cause capitalism. Go ahead and give the definition. Okay.
Is when a for-profit, such as Even Stevens Sandwiches, chooses as its partner a nonprofit, not as a gimmick, but as a true sustainable partner. Our participants can go to evenstevens.com and get a feel for the Even Stevens restaurants and the culture that we've created. So Even Stevens is a for-profit that chooses as its partner a nonprofit, not as a gimmick, but as a true sustainable partner. And we're at the Even Stevens corporate headquarters, but we have a restaurant next door. And at the Even Stevens restaurant, each restaurant contracts with 4 nonprofit partners. And this is the way it works. For every sandwich we serve, we provide a sandwich of equal nutritional value to the community's hungry sandwich for sandwich, kind of like Tom's Shoes. But what's different about us compared to Tom's Shoes is the food stays in this neighborhood. So this restaurant is actually, since it's opened, has sold hundreds of thousands of sandwiches. We were at a restaurant earlier today.
Yes, we were.
And you saw on the counter on the screen that in the next week or two, we will actually reach 3 million sandwiches. Now,
and that's 3 million sandwiches that he's giving away. Now, I want to give you a shout out because you're being very modest here. Even Stevens Restaurant, okay? One of the fastest growing restaurants right now, the conceptual restaurant, has a philosophy called cause capitalism, which was, I'm doing a recap, which was trademarked by you. Cause capitalism means that you're going to do something for a cause. So you do good, you do well, and then you do good. If I can make it, I'm doing a reframe. That's what we do, Steve, in our community. We do the remix version, right? So you do good, and then you do well, right? And so Eat to Give, for every sandwich you purchase, you give to a nonprofit for it that already approved, which you're going to talk about, what they do with the money, by the way, because everybody want to know what they do with the money, so they can feed the hungry. They can feed someone. Everyone out there, we're going to share this. We're going to pay this forward. It's called Cause Capitalism. Look right below the video. Look right below the video, by the way. Hey, Gina Bell. Gina Bell's doing amazing things. She loves your work, by the way. He loves abundance, by the way, Gina. And Gina loves something called Pathways to Abundance. You're going to love Gina. I hope you get a chance to meet her soon. Great person, by the way. Cause Capitalism. Look right below the video. Look right below the video and write these words. Eat to Give. Eat to Give. And at Even Stevens Restaurant, every time you purchase a sandwich, they give something of nutrition value, a credit to a nonprofit, because Steve believes that no one should be hungry. No one should be hungry. So do me a favor. Do me a favor. Steve talked about wealth is not earned. Wealth is created. Hashtag financially fit. Then he came back and introduced a new concept called Cause Capitalism. Cause Capitalism, where you do good, you do well. And this is amazing. And then, Steve, you layered on top of all that, which is really, really special, that it's about how we can do more in the community. Can you continue to talk about that, by the way? Because wealth is created. Wealth is not earned. And you mentioned private equity, but I want you to talk a little about Even Stevens and the good that it's doing in the community.
Let me explain how Cause Capitalism relates to wealth creation through private equity. As you know, across the parking lot from where we're sitting right now is an Even Stevens restaurant, 1,450 square feet. We sell the best sandwiches in the world.
Oh, they're good. They're good. I love them. Yes.
And we call it craft casual. They're craft sandwiches, and we have a 4.5 star Yelp rating across the board.
4.5 in a restaurant. 4.5.
4.5 stars. So people like our sandwiches, but this restaurant next door to us, at 1,450 square feet, it will do. Last year, it did $2 million in sales. This year, it'll do $2.2 million in sales. And what's really exciting is that it will probably feed roughly 100,000 people this year, and that's a great way to do business. And my point being is that it's a business principle that we've already heard of. It's just that we don't typically apply it in business, and that is give and you shall receive. Yeah. Pressed down and overflowing. This is a principle of abundance, and I believe abundance attracts abundance. As you mentioned, one of our guests teaches a philosophy of abundance. Abundance attracts abundance, and in the case of private equity, it attracts wealth. We're demonstrating it, Shay, in the marketplace because we have 20 restaurants in just 3 years. 20 restaurants open, and we're demonstrating that by applying the abundant philosophy of Cause Capitalism, that we're actually even more successful than we would be without the give back. And so it's exciting because we believe that this principle applies to every business. Any business that doesn't have a legitimate give back of Cause Capitalism, then I believe that in a matter of years, they will at the very least become politically incorrect. And I believe over time, they'll become obsolete. So the new capitalism is Cause Capitalism. And I'm demonstrating that it will attract more abundance than you ever dreamed is possible. And we're demonstrating it with the Eat to Give concept of Even Stevens. I knew that it would be perceived only as a gimmick if we didn't provide great food. So the first person that you serve is your customer. And that always has to be a win-win. You have to be abundant with your customer first. And then you combine Cause Capitalism with this philosophy. I'm telling you, the water is warm, and I invite you to join with us.
The water is warm. I like that. The water is warm. We invite you to join us on this path to creating wealth, because wealth is created. And one of the ways you said is through private equity. For those folks that are watching, that are listening, do us a favor. If you got one golden nugget, and you've shared many, hit the share button. pay this message forward. This is a conversation not about Steve Down, and he didn't ask for a check, so I didn't write you a check. You're here on your own. You're going to feed me. And I'm enjoying Even Stevens, by the way. I enjoyed walking in and seeing on that board that 3 million sandwiches have been donated because 3 million or 2.99, whatever it is, 2.9 million is probably the right number, of folks have literally been able to be fed because of what you're doing by helping feed other folks. Cause capitalism, financially fit, private equity, be yourself. These are all things that you believe in. Kat says new capitalism is cause capitalism. She put love. Theodore Mitchell, hey Theodore, tell us where you're from. He's watching right now. Melissa Watson Gray says, amen. She's hearing you. Someone said, you're preaching the word, Steve. Press down and overrunning. He knows a little something about that, by the way. Don't let him spout. He knows something about that, by the way. But he has a big heart. One of the reasons I wanted to be here, one of the reasons I'm in Salt Lake City, one reason that we're sitting down here wasn't to do this. This wasn't even planned. This wasn't even on the agenda. But it was really to see the good that's being done in the community because of cause capitalism, and because you work with folks to help them become financially fit, and because of you being able to share their message. We're going to get to financially fit in a moment, but talk about a little bit more about private equity. And for someone that's watching out there that's hearing it for the first time and saying, wow, it's, if I want to know about it, you said you got to be behind the scenes. What are some things they might look out for? They're like, it's possible that I would want to be a part of this private equity, good old boys club or good old gals club. What should I look out for? What type of companies should I even look at? Obviously, you want to take a look at Even Stevens, by the way. It's a private equity company doing some amazing things. But I know it's not about you, but if it's okay, I like to put that out there. What should they look for? Gina Bell says, hashtag abundance attracts abundance. She's listening very, very well. She also said, Steve, this is operating in full purpose, creating and attracting abundance. Okay. They got their own remix version on it. Take a moment. LaShonda says, abundance attracts abundance. Hey, I like that. Do me a favor. Can I do that? For folks that are participating, because they're all participating. We're going to go back and we're going to read the comments, okay? We're going to do something special for those folks that are using the hashtag financially fit. We're going to do something special for you. And we're going to do something special at the very end of this. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But look right below the video. Ken Brooks is joining. Hey, Ken Brooks. He's out there, by the way. Ella Carroll says, hashtag cause capitalism. He has trademarked that, by the way. But hashtag cause capitalism. I love that. But put this right below the bar. Right below. Just put abundance attracts abundance. Abundant mindset attracts abundance. Abundance attracts abundance. Hashtag financially fit. Because all this is about making sure you are financially as fit as you possibly can and staying that way and staying consistent. We'll talk about that for those folks that are already financially fit. That's what we're going to talk about, private equity and what they would look for. And then we also talk about for those folks that are like, wish I was there, but I've had some setbacks in my life, and I know you know about that. And so how do I get back on the right track, and how do I stay on the right track? But take a moment, if you will, and it's financially fit. Somebody put financially fitness. It is hashtag financially fit, right? F-I-T. Yes. All right, can you talk about that for a moment? What should they look out for? Hey, Janice Bishop Carter, I got your question. I just asked them that. What should they look out for in private equity? This is Eat to Give, Even Stevens restaurants. For every sandwich you purchase, you give money to a nonprofit that's approved on the list. Thanks for what you're doing. Thanks for doing good. And what do we look out for as someone that's in a position?
Always do thorough due diligence. The due diligence that we require of our partners, our private equity partners that join with us is we invite them to Utah at our expense. We take them by the hand through the due diligence process. Some people, they don't really even know the questions to ask, and so we take
I'm guilty, Steve.
We take them by the hand in that process. Bottom line, most businesses fail in the private stage, according to Harvard Business Review, for two reasons. One is poor management. Number two is lack of capital. I've always said the lack of capital is nothing more than an excuse by poor management. What is it that determines good management? They can't bring the capital. They certainly don't have the right management team. So it really boils down to one thing. That's the management team. Warren Buffett says he bets on the jockey more than he bets on the horse. And so when you invest in a private equity deal, you always want to meet the management team. And that's the starting point. And there's a due diligence process that, I shared with you and Carla. yesterday, that I want to actually teach you how to go through the process, because throughout your life you're going to become more like Warren Buffett. The questions are basic, and it's, it's not that complicated of a process, but it is a process. You go through a system and process of due diligence before you ever write a check or wire in an investment into a private equity deal. I always tell my prospective private equity partners, leave your checkbook at home, because you always want to have at least 3 days as a cooling